Welcome to Rock Talk Lapidary, your podcast for everything rocks.
Coming to you every Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and tap that bell. Let's get rockin'.
Hi guys, welcome to Rock Talk Lapidary. This is where we discuss everything rocks with some of Lapidary's most influential and creative people just like you. So from beginner to master, we bring something for everyone. If you love rocks, you will love us. Grab a pen and a notebook, open up the comments, and every week we do a live giveaway for those watching live. So all you have to do is get into the comment section and just say hello, and you're entered. So be sure to share this video out to anyone who loves rocks and learning. And we meet here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me introduce my co-hosts. We're going to start with Courtney. Hi,
Hello.
Courtney. Welcome.
How are you? Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney King, CNS Services, Cabs and Stones. I cut cabs. I sell slabs. I do as much rock stuff as I can. Obviously, I do this wonderful podcast with all these wonderful people. Come hang out with us. Have a good time.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see who we got next. Ryan Brown. Welcome.
How's it going? Going out of focus. How's it going, everybody?
Hi, Ryan.
My name's Ryan Brown. Me and my little brother Andrew run and own Glacier Bros. On Facebook, we sell gemstone rough, live, and slabs to people all over the world. It's a lot of fun. Come stop in and say hi. Come learn something, get a laugh, if anything.
I enjoyed your live sale tonight, Ryan. Oh, that piece of labradorite that I got from you is gorgeous. I cannot wait to polish it. Yeah. All right, next we have David Leaton. Dave, welcome.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hi,
Good
Dave.
to see everybody again tonight. So my name is Dave, and I am the owner of an autism charity group called Rock Tumblers for Autism. You can come visit us on Facebook. We do things like these little pop sockets here that I make out of rock, or we sometimes sell cabs, or we do stuff with other people. See, there's one right there that I've made for Ryan, and some really nice stuff. So if you get a chance, come visit us. Don't forget to ask about one of these wonderful little Rock Talk Lapidary stickers that we've got here, and every time you order something from me, I will be sending one of these to you free of charge, and then we also have them for sale.
So to get those, all you have to do is email rocktalklapidary@gmail.com, and one of us will get that sent out right to you.
They are $2 each, $1.75 if you buy 10 or more.
We also have them on our live shows on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right, so next we have Matt Sams. Matt Sams, welcome.
Matt,
what's up? You're muted. Please don't.
Hey. Good evening. I'm Matt Sams. I am a collector and have recently gotten into lapidary, so I do a lot of cabs and just a whole lot of variety of different forms and formations, mostly free form right now, but kind of learning new craft and exploring. Welcome.
nice.
What's up, buddy?
So what has been your last project that you worked on, that you got finished?
I just finished a piece of chevron amethyst after we were talking about faceting gemstones and not your typical faceting of gemstones. So you and Dave and I kind of got into that conversation on Tuesday night, and I went out there and started fiddling around with the flat lap and turned a piece of chevron amethyst, took a point and cut it in half, and finished half and left the other half unfinished.
I love that look. My friend Steve Holmes, I don't know if you guys know him, but he, way back in the day, when it was just the Rock Tumbling forum it was like pre-Facebook and everything. So it was just like a chat room. But he got on there, and he was one of the very first people to do what he calls an echo stone. So he takes a slab, he cuts it and polishes it, and then from the rough, he leaves a nice polished side, but you also have the rough side, and that is one of my all-time favorite things.
Neat.
Such a simple idea, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. All right, so our next co-host is a guest co-host is Brad from JBB Rocks. Welcome, Brad.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Hi. How are you guys tonight?
Hey,
We're
Brad.
great.
They're
Excellent.
good. I'm Brad. I own JBB Rocks, and I pretty much make spheres. I sell a lot of different cut and polished stones, but spheres are my big thing. So
You make some amazing spheres. Do you have any handy?
I've got this.
I was going to say, show them the Veracite.
That is
Everybody-
Lucent Veracite.
Yep, Leaton Veracite from Utah, the one I
Show me
just
the
finished
top.
up.
That is just about
There
an
it
hour
is.
and a half away from my house where they pull that out from. That is so cool.
I would
Oh.
never be at home.
I love it. No, not in
would never
Utah.
be at
You
home.
can't be. There's so much here. Wow, that is cool. That's a pricey item though, because Veracite is like turquoise. It's very, very spendy. So, do you have a
Yeah.
price on that already?
That's a 4-inch sphere. Yeah, that one's $300.
Woo-wee! Good price.
That is a
I
good
mean,
price.
how many hours of work does it go into making a sphere?
Oh, most spheres, the way I do them the old school way, where I still cut all my blocks with the saw.
Okay.
And hand preform. I haven't stepped into a core drill yet, but I'm 12 to 14 hours per sphere on the average. I've got one right now that's an agate I'm working on that I've actually got almost 14 hours into rounding right now. I haven't even started polishing it. So it's being really hard.
That's a lot of work. A lot of hours goes into that. So yeah, definitely worth that price, I think.
One sphere a day definitely keeps Brad away.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want to be clear to everybody that's watching. I know if you clicked on the link from Facebook that you can be watching the show, but you actually have to log into YouTube to be able to comment. So if you're having issues there, please go and log into YouTube. Something else I want to talk about is Spotify. So we are on Spotify. Usually what I do is I upload the video and then put it on there the next day. So if you are listening to us from Spotify, thank you so much. Please join us live one day if you can, and just drop a comment and let us know that you're here from Spotify, and I have a special gift for you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Our next sales show for our group is going to be Tuesday. I'm super stoked. Super excited about that. So,
Yes. Tuesday.
Courtney is going to be running the whole entire show. I'm so excited for this. She is selling and I am selling, but I will not actually be there. I'm technically supposed to be on bed rest, so I'm going to have Mr. Ryan. Woo!
gonna do it.
He's
Yeah,
going to
it's
be
gonna be
selling
fun.
for me. Thank
I'm
you
excited.
so much. I'm so excited to watch it from bed.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Bear with me, you guys. If I screw it up, we'll do the best we can.
You're not going to screw it up. I believe in you,
You'll be-
Courtney. You got this. If I
You'll do
can do it,
great.
you can do it. Yes. So we do have a Facebook group called Rock Talk Lapidary that I encourage everyone that's watching to join. Thinking about starting some contests in the next couple of weeks. That'll be a lot of fun. We are also on Instagram and Discord. So if you look us up on either of those places, you'll be able to find us as well. But if you need to contact us for any reason, go ahead and just send an email over to rocktalklapidary@gmail.com, and we will help answer whatever questions you may have. So, Courtney, I'll let you take it away from here.
Okay, so tonight we have one of my favorite people on the face of the earth as our guest. Her name is Kelly Cabral. I'll bring her on now. She's going to talk to us about wire wrapping, whole bunch of stuff, and then she's going to do a demo for us. So that should be super exciting. So let's bring Kelly on. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
How are you?
How you doing, guys?
Good, good.
Fantastic.
How are you?
Good.
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. We're excited to learn some of the stuff that you have to share with us. So tell us a little bit about, how you got into this lapidary jewelry.
So my husband and I were just talking about this today. It was 2010. He was working at a place where, remember about that time, people were stringing beads and making all this beady jewelry, and it was a big thing.
Yeah.
And a woman that he worked with was doing that. So he thought that would be cool to get me for Christmas. He didn't know what to get me. So he bought me a box of inexpensive findings and some beginner tools and stuff like that. And I really liked it. Thing is, I'm a purist. I like real metals.
Right.
I like things that aren't going to fall apart. And so I started thinking, well, how do I find how to make jewelry? I don't know how to solder. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So I just started Googling and found wire wrapping and wire weaving and YouTube and Facebook. And this has been 13 years ago. So it's really, it's come a long way in the past 13 years.
Okay.
I've come a long way, but yeah, that's how I got into it.
Okay. And have you ever taken any classes or anything like that, or are you all self-taught?
I'm self-taught.
Love it.
Self-taught.
Absolutely
YouTube
love
is
it.
a wonderful thing.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. So tell us a little bit, if you would, about the history of wire wrapping.
So I actually sent you a link. It's a little bit long, but wire wrapping has been around for about 4,500 years. Dates back to the civilization of Ur. They found an article that I gave you. Actually, there was a breastplate with all this wire work put on the breastplate, all this intricate wire work. And then about 2000, in Jerusalem, they found an earring that was about 2,000 years old. It's gold, and it has an emerald and a pearl in it. And there's their bezel set, but the rest of the earring is all wire work. Really gorgeous. It's got to be at least 24 karat gold because it's super, super yellow. But
Oh, wow.
it's been around
Okay.
a long, long time. There's actually a jewelry artist in one of the jewelry pages that likes to go and do old school, like ancient, like torques and bracelets and things like that. So he's using heavy gauge wire, and he likes to use the ancient techniques.
Okay.
He makes stuff. Can't think of his name at the moment. Sorry.
Okay. I just put in the comment section, you guys, the link that Kelly was just talking about if you're interested in finding out a little bit about the history of wire wrapping jewelry.
And that was probably the most comprehensive one I found. I found a couple of other, you can Google it and find other articles, but I thought that one was probably one of the better ones. There's one on Rio Grande as well. They have an article on their page as well. And there's a wire artist on that page, as well as there's a wire artist that wrote the article that you've put.
Okay.
And their work is super intricate.
Nice. So what kind of tools and stuff would people need if they wanted to get into this?
So you don't have to start out with expensive tools. You're going to need pliers. I had sent some photographs, but if you want me to turn my camera around, I can show you what I've got on my bench right now.
Let me see if I can find the pictures, and we can just throw them up, and you can tell us what they are.
Okay. I actually labeled them too.
Oh, let's see. I'm scrolling through.
So you're going to need pliers. You're going to need something to cut your wire with. You don't have to buy your wire from Rio Grande to start with. You can go to your local hardware store, and Courtney has that picture as well. You'll find that wire. I suggest, everybody suggests starting with copper. Copper is inexpensive. It's soft, easy to work with. And if you mess up with it, just set it aside. I don't get rid of any of my wire. Give me 1 second. Let me show you my stash of wire. This is 13 years worth of wire.
Oh, wow.
It's got some other stuff in there too, but that's a cereal container.
Okay.
Now, is most of that silver or
that is all
mixture?
copper. That's
all copper.
copper.
Okay.
This is my sterling bottle.
Nice. Okay.
I have one for silver as well.
Nice. I'm either missing something or the pictures are hidden somewhere I can't see them. Kersten, can you hear me?
I'm putting them in right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw your message. Okay, go ahead, Kelly. Keep talking. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people start out with tools from Harbor Freight, the local hardware store. There are some artists on Facebook and YouTube that are still using not expensive tools. I've got some tools that I use that are some of my favorites that are some of the cheaper tools. It just depends on what you're doing with them. And like even these inexpensive tools, if you so the wire is soft and you're going to mar it with your tools because you're bending it, you're moving it around and it'll get scratches on it. So the cheaper tools, if you just take some really fine sandpaper, you can sand down those really rough edges. And that will help a lot. It saves on cleanup. You don't have as much to buff out when you're done.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah,
so here we go. So, like these kinds, right? The different types of pliers.
Yep. And those are all. I've got the different names of the pliers on there.
Right. So you. Guys
and that little yellow pair, those red cutters right there. Those are Harbor Freight.
Okay.
And I use them for the heavier gauge wire. I don't use those are all the blue ones are Tronics and they're not cheap, but it took me, I just started buying Tronics tools a couple years ago.
Okay.
So I won't cut anything heavier than 18 gauge with my Tronics pliers. And typically I don't even like to cut 18 gauge with them. Okay. Most everything else, I will cut anything heavier than 18, get cut with those red pliers, or I have another pair that's even heavier than that for when I'm doing something really heavy. Okay. That clamp right there, especially if you're that clamp, that actually, those clamps are cheap. You buy them at the hardware store. They have rubber tips on them. The problem with the rubber tips is the metal wears through the rubber tip and then will start cutting into your wire. So I have it's double on both jaws of the clamp of the fuzzy side of Velcro. Okay. And it works like a charm. It saves your hand. You're not cramping up. You're not holding, don't have the death grip on the wire.
Right.
A lot of people, I still use nail files, nail buffers. That's an awl. And I'll show you when I'm doing my little demo where an awl would come in handy. You use it to separate wires.
Right. And then we've got little hammers and stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Little hammers, a bench block, something to measure with. It can be a ruler, can be measuring tape. I use all kinds of things. And that little tiny pair of toenail scissors.
Yes, that's I was going to ask you if those were nail scissors. Okay.
So I use those to get into really tight spaces. And I've got other cutters. They don't get into the tiny, especially when you're weaving.
Right.
They don't get into those tiny spaces like that little pair of scissors they're a godsend. Use them all the time.
Okay. So that's the basics of the tools, right?
Yep.
Anybody that wants to get started, grab a couple of those tools and you can kind of get started. What about material? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who produces the best
go ahead.
wire?
Who produces the best wire?
Yep, we had a question from one of our viewers. Who, in your opinion, produces the best wire?
You know what? Kirsten, can you put up the picture of the wire that I sent you?
Wire. This one.
Yep. So see those two spools on the right? Those came from my local hardware store. They're about $5-6 a piece. That wire is just as good as the wire you're going to get at Harbor Freight. At Rio Grande. I usually, if I'm buying sterling silver, I go to Rio Grande. I just had to buy some more for a custom order, and Rio had the better prices. They're not always better. There's a lot of other vendors out there. But those little spools, especially if you're just starting out, you don't need to buy big heavy spools. I'll show you one when I turn my camera around. I've got one sitting here on my bench. But the fine gauge wire, what I started with, I went to Amazon and got a little multi-pack. Didn't even know what I was buying. Had no idea what gauges I wanted. No clue. But it came with like 18, 20, 24, 26, and 28 gauge, I think, or something like that. It was a nice little multi-pack. It wasn't expensive. It didn't have a lot of wire in it, but it was good for me to get started with. And it helped me figure out what I liked to work with. There's a lot of people on YouTube. Some of these artists do some of the coolest stuff. They are so imaginative. And they have preferences for their wires. There's one person, Gem Seeker. She likes to work in heavy gauge wire. For Girls Jewelry. She makes some of the coolest organic stuff. And she uses heavier gauge wire. And she doesn't even use fancy tools. You don't have to. It's all a matter of figuring out what you like to work with the best.
Right.
So
it's a lot
YouTube
about
videos,
personal preference.
Oh, definitely. Because you're going to find what you like to make and what feels good to you. And do you want to work with cabochons? Do you want to work with beads? Do you want to just make animals out of wire? I mean, some of the stuff out there is mind-boggling.
Right. Okay. So when we talk about materials, because that's what we're talking about, right? Obviously, the cheaper way to start is with copper, right? Because
definitely.
And you want than the other metals. What kind of like round, half round, square, all of that stuff? What I don't because I'm not a jewelry maker, right? What are the differences and what are your preferences?
The material I put in that one picture, you're going to get round from your local hardware store. You're not going to get square and you're not going to get half round. You're only going to get round. Now you can buy smaller amounts of square and half round from Amazon, for just to get a feel for whether you like working with those materials or not. Square wire is just exactly what it says it is. It is square. It is not round. So it's going to have 4 edges to it. So you want to keep, and you can do really cool things with square wire. You can twist it and make cool patterns. There's lots of videos on that. I find that it holds onto certain stones better because it has a sharp edge to it. And it has a nice look when you're working with it. But you do have to keep the edges flat. So there's a little process there. Half round wire is exactly what it says it is. It's flat on the bottom and the top is round. So half of it is round. And that is typically used for wrapping, which is what I'm going to do a small demo of tonight.
Okay. Jaws has a question real quick on preference of the stones. Do you prefer preforms, freeform, organic shapes, round, flat, thicker cabs? What kind of cabs do you prefer to work with? Or is that a personal preference thing as well, depending on what you're trying to make?
I would say personal preference. Sometimes you're going to look at a stone and say, this thing is stunning, but it's like gargantuan thick, or it may be shaped odd, and you're going to be like, well, I love the stone, and you have to think about what you're going to do with it. My Pinterest board is divided into, I don't know how many categories, and I probably have over 5,000 pins.
Wow.
Because I look at other people's work and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. I don't copy other people's work, but I use it as inspiration. Every once in a while, there's something like, man, I just have to have that. Or, a friend will ask me to make, let's say I'm making a birthday gift for somebody. I'll be like, do you like this? They'll be like, yeah. So, I mean, you don't copy people's work to sell it, but it is flattery. And realistically, pretty much every pattern and idea has been made.
Right.
I mean, there's probably no original ideas when it comes to this stuff.
Right. My husband always likes to say, if he has thought of it, somebody else has definitely thought of it before him.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, typical, right? Because there is not a whole lot of original stuff going on anymore in any field, right?
I just think it's hard. We've been around too long.
Right. So I'm going to ask you one more thing, and then I'm going to ask each one of these guys if they want to ask you a question before we move into showing some of your pictures and then your tutorial.
Okay.
So technique, right? When we talk about different techniques, where do you get, how do you learn about different techniques? So
YouTube videos are, if you're not going to take a class, even if you do take a class, watch YouTube videos. There are some great beginner videos out there. Watch how people hold their tools. Watch how people move the wire. Watch how people hold the wire. If you're weaving a pattern, which you'll see some of my pendants, if you do weaving, a very hard thing to learn is how to not bend. So you have your base wires that hold the weaving. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you've got a base, and then you weave on top of the base.
Okay.
And keeping those base wires from bending takes some learning.
Right.
And so, a lot of beginners and a lot of the Facebook groups will be like, how do I do this? And I'll tell you what, there's a YouTube channel called CSL Designs. She has a video on tension, and she talks about how to keep your base wires not from getting bent all around by your weaving wires. But the biggest thing I've learned from watching people is watch how they hold their tools, watch how they hold the wire, watch how they move the wire. And it makes all the difference in the world, really does, because these people have been doing this a long time.
Right.
And obviously what they do works because they make cool stuff.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, let's just go right down the line. Kersten, got a question you'd like to ask Kelly?
I sure do. Kelly, do you have a YouTube channel, or do you have intentions of starting any kind of training? Because this is fabulous.
Thank you. I've thought about a YouTube channel, but there's a lot of people doing YouTube right now. What I'm looking at doing for now is to start learning how to do shorts and putting them up on my Facebook page. So that's where I'm going to start, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Awesome.
Okay.
Glad to hear it.
All right, Brian?
I know everybody else is probably going to ask you about your work. I always like to ask people what their favorite gemstone is.
My favorite gemstone. Boy, I like a lot of gemstones. Labradorite is a fabulous stone. I like all the shiny ones. I like ones that have schiller to them. Anything that's got a nice schiller, even this strawberry aventurine, stuff that glitters. I like stuff like that. Although I do love dendrites. Dendrites are pretty cool.
So basically all rocks. Kelly
likes
all the rocks.
I'm a sucker.
Dave, you got a question for Kelly?
I do, and really it kind of stems back to a conversation that we had before we even came live on the show tonight. We were talking, and I would love to learn to wire wrap. My daughter has started, but I have these old arthritic hands, and some days it's even hard to come out and cab. So I'm wondering how difficult is it going to be for somebody who has arthritis to learn to do a decent job at this?
You know, the biggest key is to not have a heavy hand with the wire. I have arthritis and it's starting to get kind of annoying. I do have some gloves, the arthritis gloves that you put on. So I do have those. I find that they kind of restrict me a little bit, even the nice tight ones. But just take it slow. Don't overwork your hands. There's exercise. Make sure you keep your hands warm. Make sure you cool them off. Give your hands a break. If it's too much, then it's time to stop. You don't have to.
So it sounds like somebody.
Patience is what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it sounds like somebody who has the arthritis can learn to do this and be able to deal, with the just quit when it hurts. Sounds like
a lot of people in the Facebook groups. They have multiple health problems. They've got, fibromyalgia, they've got arthritis, they've got, whatever. And, they still do it because, it's mental therapy in addition to being good physical therapy and keeping your hands moving. Right. So
my wife says I need mental therapy above all.
Definitely all.
Okay, Matt, you got a question for Kelly?
I do. So mine's geared more towards tooling. Do you ever use hawksbill cutters to keep from crimping the ends of the wire?
So my tools are all have they're flush cutters. They're all flush cutters. I don't know what hawksbill is, but these are flush. So one side is flat. The other side is going to have a pointy. And I'll show this when I go to do my demo, and you guys can tell me if you can see it or not. But I'll show you the tool. The one side is flat, and what'll happen is you'll cut your wire, and you'll get a flat end, and then the other half of the wire will have a pointy end. So if you're going to use the other half of that wire, you just turn your cutters around and cut the flat end.
Okay, the other plier-like tools that you had up, are those smooth face or do they have ridges?
These are all smooth face because otherwise you're going to make marks on your pliers and on your wire, and you're still going to make marks, but you don't want any with serrated jaws.
Okay. Brad, you got a question?
Gonna say I can't think of anything right now. Everybody's asking the questions I would have asked, so I think I'm good at this point.
Okay, I have one question.
Okay.
Obviously, you do make marks on your wire, no matter what you do, to some degree, right? How do you get the marks out?
You polish them out. There's a lot of different ways. One of the pictures that you posted up, you can use nail files, like the really fine ones that you just barely buff your nails with.
Okay.
Depends on how deep your gouges are.
Gotcha.
So you can use sandpaper. A lot of people will take sandpaper and put them on popsicle sticks or painter sticks. Buffing blocks. There's all, and then you can also get into like the buffing wheels and the different grades on those. So. Okay. Lots of different options.
So same concept kind of as cutting a stone, right? Just go with the higher grits as you get the scratches out and it polishes up. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's show a few pictures of your work and you can tell us what they are and then we'll head into your demo, okay?
Okay.
All right, so tell us about this.
Okay, this is a piece of blue goldstone and it's wrapped in silver filled wire.
Okay.
That is a wrap. And it's called a wrap because, with the exception of the bail is woven. So okay. I combine a lot of that stuff. Wrapping is nice because you're not doing a whole lot of weaving all the way around the stone. You're just wrapping the bail.
Right. I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. My friend has that.
And what about this one? That one's really cool too.
Thank you. That's a Tree of Life. It's in copper. It's one of my older pieces. I've had it for a long time. I had a stone in there that was drilled, and it was a dyed agate. And when I went to oxidize it, the liver of sulfur ruined the dye on the agate. So it took me a while to find a stone that would fit in there, and I finally found a really pretty rose quartz that I could replace it with.
Okay.
But that
nice.
is all woven.
Okay. So this is
Awesome.
look, I'm putting my pointer at the screen like y'all can see my pointer, right? But I see what you're talking about now, the difference between a wrap and a weave, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And what about these beautiful babies?
So those were commissioned for a friend for Christmas presents. Courtney cut the stone in the middle. That is a lovely moss agate. And the item in the middle, there's weaving and wrapping in all of this. So the horse with the garnets in the mane, that's mostly woven, I guess. It's just a frame, really, with a little bit of weaving on it. And then she wanted some garnets. It's the Tree of Life. Around the whole tree is woven,
Right.
and so is the veil. And then the horse, it's actually a tutorial from a woman by the name of Erica Powell. She has wire art tutorials on Etsy. She has one heck of an imagination, and is she ever prolific? She has tutorials all the time, and some
Okay.
really, really, really awesome stuff.
Right. And I actually have the sister of that horse.
Yep. It took me 3 iterations before I got the one that I wanted.
I
Right.
love
And
the Tree of Life.
Thank you. Everybody loves the trees.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yep.
What about this baby?
That is a piece of mahogany obsidian, and that was a commission from an old high school friend. And it's a gorgeous stone, except the mahogany does not show up like that. And I told her, I said, I took every picture I could. I tried filters. I tried everything. It's not that orange. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. And she loved it when she got it. So that was nice.
Nice. Okay, let's see. How about this one? Oh,
That was a commission for my friend also. And that is a piece of amethyst sage. And that's sterling silver. That is a tutorial from, I'm not going to remember. I've made it a couple times. And then the veil is actually from Oksana Crafts. But that was a tutorial. And the nice thing about a lot of these tutorials is you follow them and you get the basics, and then you can embellish or change it however you like it. You know, lots of times, this is a very organic art. Most of the time you are not following exactly what the artist, what the tutorial says.
right. Well,
Yeah,
you're kind of customizing it too, right? That's really
Yep.
cool.
Thank you. That was just something I whipped up, and a friend bought it.
Okay.
I love
Yeah,
the
it's
loop
neat.
over setting on there.
Right. Yeah, it's really neat. It's unique.
Yeah, that stone turned out really cool.
Yeah.
I was happy with it.
Yeah. And then here we've got several different things going on. That's really cute. And I'm doing it again with the pointer, right? That's really cute. The Kirby's on the donut there. I like that.
Oh yeah, that's actually a Kelly Jones tutorial. I've made a
Okay.
couple of those. Yeah,
Okay. Yes, I know who Kelly is. I like Kelly.
that's Kelly Jones also.
Oh, okay.
That is pretty much mostly me. There's a girl by the name of Abby Road, and the swirls on the end and in the middle on the bottom. It was inspiration. That's a piece of what is
Yeah,
that?
that's really nice.
Peach moonstone. Yep.
Okay.
About that.
And then I got to show this one because I just think it's phenomenal.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's so
She does some
cool.
amazing things with these pumpkins.
Really neat.
So that's also a tutorial from YouTube, and like you were saying, you take these tutorials and then you just kind of do whatever you want to with them.
Right.
That particular pumpkin was the first one I made, and a guy I used to play WoW with actually bought it. He's like, I have to have that. I'm like, okay. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I said, hang it in your window. So
Are the leaves peridot?
that is, I don't know what that is. That is some sort of jasper or something, because that is the most gorgeous stone. I have no idea where I got it, but it's got pyrite in it. And it starts out more orange on the left and goes to more like an ochre on the right. And then there's little peridot chips on it.
Very cool. Okay, I'm going to show one more, and then we're going to roll into your demo, because we're getting kind of short on time. I don't want to.
I like that a lot.
That's very pretty.
Isn't that neat?
So that is the prototype for a commission I have to work on after I finish this podcast. A lady bought one of my pumpkins and one of my owls, and her grandparents used to cut stones. And she messaged me and asked me if I could make something for her. And she sent me a picture of the stone. I said, yeah. I said, what are you looking for? And she wanted something. She likes fantasy stories. She's like, I don't know, anything witchy, elven, queen. I'm like, well, let me see what I can come up with. And that's the first time I'd ever used gallery wire, and I really had fun using it. So I'm looking forward to doing some more of that. But she really, really liked it. And actually, awesome. Let me see. Does that one has the flower on the right, doesn't it?
Yes.
I took the flower. We all agreed. Courtney agreed. The customer agreed. The flower on the right had to go. So I replaced it with just another moonstone. All those little beads are moonstones.
Okay. Right.
And
I didn't even pick up on that. This is the original picture. So Kelly just lives about 20 minutes up the street from me. So we get together as regularly as we can and do some trading and do some buying of each other's stuff. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to take this off, and let's go ahead and roll into your demo and show us your thing.
All right, well, I need to...
I'm going to flip this around.
Yep, hang on. Camera.
Okay, so I'm going to change the layout a little bit here, you guys, so that Kelly can be on the big screen.
I got to be able to put here. And I apologize if you can't see very well. I don't have a lot of light in this room, and this is the best I have.
No, you're fine. That's good.
So, all right. Matt was asking about the cutters. These are flush cutters. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but see how flat the end is, the back is here? Can you see that?
Yep.
That's what gives you a flat end. And if I can pick this up. So now I can't see this in my screen, but this is the flat end. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then this is the pointy end. So, if you want both ends flat, you have to take the cutters and cut with the flat end to cut that off, to get rid of that pointy end.
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. We're going to make something similar to this. This is just a simple wrap in copper. So we're going to start out with some square wire. And this is the big spool that I got from Rio Grande. This is 20 gauge square. And when you straighten wire, you can use the nylon jaw pliers like this, or you can use your hands. And, watching the people on YouTube, watch how they do stuff. It makes all the difference in the world. And then you're going to figure out how big you want it to be. So I've already done some prep work here. This is our little stone we're going to do. It's a little labradorite. You can take a tape measure, you can take a piece of twine, whatever you have, measure it. I think this measured it like 2.5 inches. Oh, this is the wrong piece, but so you mark it or whatever. So yeah, it's about 2.5 inches around. Now, 2.5 inches isn't going to cut it. It's not big enough to do your stone. So what I did is I chose to go with about 8 inches. So I cut 3 pieces of square wire into 8-inch lengths. You lay them flat side by side. Hopefully you can see that. And then I taped the ends because it helps keep them together. And if you're going to tape them, make sure your tape is going in the same direction. I'll show you why later.
And that's painters? That's just standard painter's tape, Kelly? Or
Yep. And you want painter's tape. Scotch masking tape is a little hard to work with. It doesn't come off as easily. So here's my roll of painter's tape.
Gotcha.
And then my half round wire. So this is the curved side, and it's, I don't know if you can see that or not. And then there's the flat side. So I've marked the middle of my wire with my marker, about 4 inches. Pull my sleeves up. And what we're going to do is, I have to watch what I'm doing. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm going to start a little to the left of my mark. I'm going to take my wire and pull it under, and then pull it over, wrap it around.
Okay.
You want it to be as tight as you can get it. The thing about half round wire is you don't want it to twist, or you're going to end up with the flat side on top, unless you're looking for that look, which some people do that.
Okay.
So we're going to do, I don't know, 10, 12 wraps, something like that. You want to keep your wire next to each other. You want them to be flat next to each other. And I'm just going to go around. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to take my pliers. These are flat nose pliers. I'm going to flatten this. I'm going to smush them together. Whoops, not like that. And flatten them. And that will help the wire hold on. It'll help the half round wire hold on to this. Now to finish this, I would turn this. I would take my flush cutters. And I'm going to cut it with the flat side down so that I don't have a pointy end. And you would, hopefully I'm still on the camera. You would flatten like that. Okay. So when you get as many wraps as you want, that's how you're going to finish that.
Okay.
So here's a finished one. Already done. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our stone. And you can hold it any way you like. Some people like to tape it down. I'm going to take my wire. This is why I like having it taped, because it keeps the wire together. And I'm going to wrap it around the stone to about the very top. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. The idea is you want to be in the middle like that.
Okay.
And then you're going to take it and you're going to bend it up like this.
Okay, gotcha.
So now you have your frame. So you're going to hold your frame together. Now I have another piece of half round wire. I measured this to about 12 inches. Again, check to make sure that your wire is pointed in the right direction. This particular spool came with the flat side out, which I find very awkward, but it is what it is. So I always have to turn it around and bend it. So this is a little awkward to start with. You leave a tail, try to push these together as best you can. Hopefully you can see this.
Hey, Kelly, what gauge wires are you using there?
I have 20 gauge square and 22 gauge half round.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to pull this like this. We're going to smash these together and hopefully not make it look too awkward. There we go. And try to keep these as square as possible. And it doesn't have to be all the way down at the bottom just yet. I'll show you why. So you want to try to get it to, move it up here to get it to work. And you want to make a couple wraps. 2, 3. Oops, it's going around in circles. All right, that should be good. Just to hold it together. All right, push it back down toward the end. Try to make sure these stay square. And then we're going to take this piece here.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to pull it through. Try to make sure it stays with the half, with the round on the top.
Okay.
We'll pull it through with our pliers into this little notch here. And then we're going to cut it off. As close as you can.
Okay. So is the wire, I don't even understand this question. So Sharon Osborne, who is a wonderful lady cab cutter, wants to know, is it half hard?
This is all dead soft. This is dead soft.
Okay. And what are the differences?
Half hard is going to be harder to work with. It doesn't move as easily. And wire, the more you manipulate it, the more it's going to break. You know, you've broken a wire coat hanger before, right?
Right.
Same concept.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what kind of wire you're talking about.
Okay.
So I have a friend named Trin Fan Mitchell. She does really stunning fancy wire wrap. And she uses much smaller gauge wire than I do. And she uses half hard. But for the kind of work that she does her husband, you know, Dave Mitchell, he cuts some stunning stones, and then she wraps his stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So she works in much smaller gauges than I do. So, okay. So now we have the base of our frame here. Now we're going to pull, since we've pulled this wire through the front, this is our back. So now we have a front and a back where we didn't before.
Okay.
And we're going to take the back two wires. So and I'm doing this because I can't see. Come here. There's one. See, there's that one.
Okay.
And then I want this one. I can't get to it. And that one. We're going to pull these back. Then we're going to take these two side wires and pull them sideways. And the same thing with this one, because we want them out of the way.
Okay.
So these two back wires are going to become our bail. So you're going to bring your wire around here, and I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera, but I'll give you the basic idea. You're going to come in here, and you're going to wrap your wire around these two wires. Bend them up a little bit so you can work with them. You want to make sure you keep your wire from twisting. And you're going to wrap around. Somehow we got bent. I don't know how. And you're going to wrap up until you get several inches to a bail. So I already have one done, so you don't have to watch me do all that wrapping. So here's my bail. Now what we're going to do, you can use bail making pliers. You can use a pencil. You can use a pen. My husband's a hunter, so I have a piece of an arrow. And I like this because it's a solid cylinder. Pencils tend to, and pens tend to taper. This is all one dimension. So I'm going to bend this up. And I'm going to bend it around here. And we're going to, and this looks awkward because it is, we're going to bend our wires through here. So, whoops, come back here. So here's our bail. I'm going to bend it up straight a little bit more. And if you can't see this very well, Oksana has fantastic tutorials on exactly this. Where do you think I learned it? And you're going to bring these in here. And you're going to pull your right one to the right and your left one to the left. And you're going to bring them around to the back. And I'm going to take my pliers and pull them, kind of move them and shape them. And I'm going to bring them back here. Now I'm going to cut them off because they're definitely too long. And we're going to finish these two wires pretty much right here.
Okay.
So if you're not sure if it's too long or too short, cut them too long. You can always cut more off. Same with your hair, right?
Right.
So take pliers. I am having a trouble today. There we go. And smash that down. Now, see, it's too long, so I'm going to take my cutters and trim it off.
I love your professional terms like smash.
You will find a lot of people use smash. It is a very common phrase in the wire world. Or smush.
Right.
You know, we're all regular people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you said it's kind of like your hair. You can always cut a little more off. They said no, except for Matt.
Yeah, Matt can't go shorter.
There you go. So that part's done. Now we got these. What are we going to do with these? We can do anything we want with these. This is where your creativity comes in. You can follow a tutorial on it. You can do what the tutorial says, and then you can figure out how to change it around. I'm going to bend them this way, keeping them together. Hopefully you can see my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, so that's where your curvies and your curly cues come from.
mm-hmm. And I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just winging it. This is just kind of how I roll. I'm here. I gotta wait for myself there. There we go. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to hold on to this and bend this up.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move it over a little bit. Hopefully I'm still in camera.
Yeah, you are.
You're good.
You're kind of at the bottom, but we can see you just fine.
All right. I'm going to cut these off because they're too long. But I knew that when I made that. When I cut this, I knew I would have too much. I see about copper.
Now, the way you cut those off, you held that wire for a reason, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't go flying all over the place. It can land in your eye. It can be on the, it'd be all over your room. You'd be stepping on wire.
Right.
Not fun. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter because they're still too long. So now I'm going to take the innermost wire and curl it. Got to get it apart first. And see how nice and flat that end is on that wire? Can you see that? Okay. It makes for a cleaner end. And then I'm going to take this guy and try to get around him. I probably didn't leave it long enough. Shorten this one a little bit so they kind of match. Wrong one. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, I'm just going to bring around here. I'm going to bring it back through here. Oops, sorry. I went through. I'm going to cut these off because I'm going to tuck them in. A little too long in the back, but we can still cut them off. Smash it down. You don't want to have any pointy bits that are going to poke people.
Right.
So there's that. Now we got to figure out how to get our stone in here. I hope I'm not taking too much time to do this.
No, I think
So
you're
our
fine.
stone fits in
We're
here
a little
nice.
bit over, but it's okay.
Turn our stone around. Labradorite's fun because you can get the flash however you want it. Nice thing about this one, it's round so you can fix it as you go. So, okay. Now I'm going to take, this is where you could use an awl. These are a pair of Xeron pliers. They're not very expensive. Good for starter tools. And these are really nice and pointy. So I'm going to take this one, this end here, down here. I'm going to lift it up, but I'm going to hold here. It made a bend. Same thing on this side. Again, hold, bend. So now we have a way to hold our stone in.
So you're like making a little pocket for the stone to sit in.
Yep, we're going to do the same thing on the back side.
Very cool.
Now, the nice thing about the back side is you can do this in the middle, or you can do it all the way at the bottom. Oksana does them in the middle. I prefer to do them on the bottom. And if you have to, then you can do them on the top as well. Hopefully I'm in the camera here.
Mm-hmm.
And that stone is not coming out of there.
Wow. That's
Really neat.
cool. That's really cool. Very nice.
Yep. Looks great too.
That's awesome.
Thank you. These probably need to get pushed down a little bit more because those are going to poke somebody. But those are the kind of things you tweak at the end. You know, you say, well, my bail's to this, or I got to do that, or, you know, poke these in so they're not going to poke anybody. Different things.
What would your next step be after this?
I would oxidize this. I would use liver. I use liver of sulfur. I have a really concentrated one. I've had it for years and years, and I take a Q-tip and stick it in a little bit of hot water in a jelly jar, and it's oxidized in like 5 minutes, if that. If you use hot water.
And the oxidizing does what? Turns it black? Turns it, what does it turn it?
Turns it black. You know, the pieces that you saw, that you showed, those were all oxidized. So the oxidization brings out the detail in the material. And I'm looking for steel wool, and I know I have a piece somewhere. A lot of people use the 4-aught steel wool to buff off the oxidization because it will make the entire thing black.
Right.
So
Is there a lever of sulfur that you prefer?
Not particularly. I don't have mine here. It's in my bathroom. Because it stinks. Some people use gun blue. I've used gun blue before. You can get a small bottle of liver of sulfur at like Michael's and Joann's. There's better ones. I got mine off of Amazon. I can't think of the name at the moment, but it's really concentrated. It's just a little bottle about this big, plastic bottle, and it has lasted me forever.
Okay. So you do the liver of sulfur, and then do you tumble polish it? What do you do after that?
When I first started, I was using 4-aught steel wool, which is how a lot of people start out, and it helps buff all that extra off the metal.
Okay.
And what it does is it polishes up the high points and leaves the dark points in between, so you can see the detail in these little pieces here.
Right.
Or even here, I'll take this one off. So this is oxidized.
Okay.
And so the high points are polished, but you can see the black stayed in between the weave.
Right. Okay.
And it shows all the detail.
Right. Very cool. Very cool.
And then so I I got really lucky. I picked up a double barrel lower tone tumbler off of, I don't know, it wasn't Marketplace back in the day. I think I got it off of Craigslist for $35 with tumbling media and everything.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
And when you're tumbling, you just use shot, right?
Yes, stainless steel shot, and you just clean it. I'm gonna switch my camera back so you don't have to keep looking at my bench.
Okay.
And stainless steel shot. You can get that. You can buy it online. I've bought some from Rio. My husband picked up some for me at a store somewhere. A lot of people like to finish their stuff off with Renaissance wax to help keep the tarnish down.
Okay.
I don't really find that it does that much to prevent tarnish. Some people like to coat their items. I tried that once, not a fan, and it doesn't keep the tarnish off. Copper is going to tarnish. That's all there is to it.
Right.
A lot of people sell their. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you do tumble, how long do you tumble for?
It depends on the stones. Some stones can't take tumbling. You really shouldn't tumble some stones. Like, you can get by with putting malachite in for a small amount of time. Depends on turquoise. It depends on how hard it is.
Right.
You want to be careful with those kind of things. So you want to know what stones you're putting in. Agates, jaspers, labradorites, rose quartzes, strawberry aventurines. Those things, you can leave them in. I really wouldn't tumble more than 30 minutes. It's not necessary to go longer than that. Some people say it work hardens the metal. I don't think it really does. I don't think there's enough going on there to work harden the metal, especially if you're doing earrings or a bracelet or a ring or something.
Right. Okay. Super impressive. Very informative.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very cool, Kelly. Thank you so much for doing that for us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Anybody have, I don't want to cut anybody off. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share with us? We're just a little bit over time, so I just wanted to kind of wrap it up a little bit.
I can't think of anything.
Did you cover everything? I mean, did I touch on everything that we wanted to touch on?
Yeah, I think so. I looked at my little notes that I sent you, and I think we got it all.
Okay. Guys, if you want to see Kelly, again, her link to her Facebook is in the description. It's the Sterling Stag, Kelly Davis Cabral Davis. I get it backwards all the time. Davis Cabral. On Facebook, you can find her. Definitely, if you have any questions, Kelly is super cool. She's always willing to help and answer any questions anybody has.
Absolutely.
Just like the rest of us, we like to share that knowledge as much as we can. If you want it, we're more than willing to share it. So, okay. Kersten, hi.
Hi. Glad to be back. I've been in the comments section just poring over everything. So
Nice.
We had a lot of people here tonight learning a lot from you, Kelly. Thank you so very much for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Does any of the rest of the co-hosts have anything else they want to ask Kelly, or any questions or anything?
I was having fun learning.
Yeah. Right.
I'm the stone identification guy. When it comes to different people's art, I'm always like, wow. I'm working on my own things, but nothing to do like that. That's awesome.
I got a stone for you. I showed it to Courtney. She's like, I have no clue.
Yes.
Yeah, hit
Show
me up.
it to us. Yeah.
I usually do. Yeah, if I don't know what it is, I'll ask one of these guys on this show.
Yeah, remember that pink stuff I brought down?
Yeah.
No clue what it is. And when I bought it at the auction, they didn't know what it was either. I have a whole chunk of it, plus a nice lab. So
shoot me a picture of it, and I'll get it to Ryan, and we'll see if we can't figure it out. He probably knows more than most of the rest of us about that kind of stuff. Kirsten.
I do know that there were a lot of comments that you were very inspirational. Quite a few folks, quite a few
Oh, yeah.
comments in there that they were going to go ahead and give it a go. Some of them tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did
Yeah.
have a question that popped up. Do you have any suggestions for a simple ring demo?
A ring demo? I would look at YouTube. Oksana has some really simple Oksana crafts on YouTube. She has some very, very simple rings. Depends on how big your stone is. I think hers are all with little stones, but you can just search in YouTube and see what strikes your fancy. See if anything looks interesting.
Right.
That's probably the only ring I've made. I tried to make another one, and then it was an epic fail.
I don't believe that.
I haven't gone back to the rings lately.
Bales are hard. I like the weaved bales. Kelly, do you like weaved bales?
Yeah, I really do like the weaved bales better. Matter of fact, I'm working on a piece now that is wrapped with a woven bale. And I've twisted some of the square wire, which makes such a cool pattern. Matter of fact, that first picture that you showed of the blue gold stone, that wire across the front, I think, was twisted, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
My friend
Very
nabbed that
cool.
one.
Nice.
Twisted square wire makes really cool patterns.
Awesome work. Very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, this was a lot of fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget, we're here every week, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, let's not
Standard Time,
shut the
9 o'clock
show down
Eastern
yet.
Time. Okay.
We can't. Courtney
giveaway.
can't shut the
Oh,
show.
I
Can't
forgot
shut the
about
show
that
down yet.
giveaway. Oh my
Okay, let me show you
God.
guys what the giveaway is really fast, Courtney. Thank you, honey.
Sorry.
Okay, so we got some stickers, really cute crystal stickers. We've got one of our stickers. We've got a really cool agate, a piece of dulite, a piece of turquoise. This is all in the same bundle. You got 3 really cool tumbles and a piece of rose quartz twerk. So, how many?
Spoiled.
Right. Yes, very spoiled. So how many do we have tonight, Ryan?
15.
Oh,
Nice.
15. Kelly, pick a number between 1 and 15, please.
Okay. How about 12?
Tarina Rhodes.
Tarina, awesome. Contact me. You could contact me on TikTok because we are friends over there, or get a hold of me, and we just need your mailing address, and I'll get that sent out to you. Thank you, Courtney. This was provided by Courtney tonight.
Very welcome.
Thank you, Courtney.
Anytime.
Okay, Courtney, you can shut the show down now.
Oh,
when you're
now
ready.
I can shut the show down.
Guys,
All
don't
right.
forget to like and subscribe and turn the bell on.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Always. Thank you,
Yes.
Ryan.
Come see us on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Come see us for
Ooh,
the live
yes.
show on Tuesday. That is also at 7 Mountain, 9 Eastern. Kersten and I will be selling. Ryan will be selling for Kersten. I will be doing my best to sell for myself and run the show. So please come and join us. And as Ryan said, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit all those good buttons, and share us out to your friends. We appreciate you being here. We will, one at a time, say a little something and then take us out. Kelly, would you like to say anything to anybody before we take you out?
Just thank you all for coming and being interested. And there's a lot of great Facebook groups that are very supportive, and a lot of good information, tons of stuff on YouTube. Don't forget to look at Pinterest. I just type in wire and whatever I want, wire hearts, wire crosses, whatever, and Etsy for tutorials. If
There
you're
you
looking
go.
for something that you want to pay for. But
Okay.
tons of free stuff on YouTube.
Free stuff
That's
is always
great.
good. We like
Yep.
free. All right. Thank you so much, Kelly. I will talk to you tomorrow sometime. I love you. Thank you for coming.
Love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Okay, who's next? Matt.
Hey.
Hey.
Very informative, right? Great show tonight. A lot of folks participated in the comments as well. Very inspiring. We love inspiring folks and providing some inspiration. So I'm excited. I might go twist up some wire sometime soon. I got plenty of other irons in the fire at the moment, but I might give it a go.
There you go. There you go.
Have a good night.
Right. Thank
Bye,
you,
Matt.
Matt. See you later. Brad.
Yeah. So Kelly did a wonderful job. I've seen lots of different wire wrappers. I've personally taken a couple of different classes myself. Just these old hands don't quite work wire so very well, but she was very informative. I love the way she explained stuff. It was simple and made it seem like wire wrapping was super easy to do, where I know from experience it's not as easy as she made it look. But amazing job. Thanks, Kelly. We appreciate you, and we'll hope to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brad. See you later.
See you.
Ryan.
Hello.
Hi.
That was great. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. You could tell she has the muscle memory.
Yeah.
And any time that there was a little problem, you could see her she knew exactly what to do, every little movement to get it to look how she wanted. So that's really impressive, watching a master work on their art. So thanks everybody for coming. Silly raccoons. We will see you all on Tuesday at the auction. Got lots of cool stuff.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. See
Bye,
you
guys.
Tuesday. Do I get to do you too?
Yeah, sure, do
Awesome.
me.
Kirsten.
Well, thank you everybody for coming on tonight and really engaging with us in the comment section. You really helped keep the show alive. We love that more than anything, and I'm super grateful to all the people who came out tonight. Thank you, Tarina, our winner tonight, for the giveaway. So yeah, thank you, Kelly. That's all.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you on Tuesday for the live show. Please always, go on the Facebook group, hit the, as we say, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell, do all that good stuff. Share us out to your friends. We love you very much. We're so appreciative that you came, and we will see you next time.
Great show, guys. Let's go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.